Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to the very first episode of the Commander Crew. My name is Corey, and today I'm going to be joined by my buddies Eddie and Chris, and we're going to be talking about the brand new C19 Commanders that are coming out later this month. This first video is going to be us going over the Faceless Menace Sulti Deck, and talking about the new Commanders, and if we like them, if we don't like them, what we would do to build the new decks around them, and giving you some cool tips. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and let's get to it. Okay, so we're talking about the Faceless Menace deck. Right? That's what we were talking about.
Yep, Faceless Menace.
Faceless Menace. Cool. Great. Everybody get on the bus. The main commander in the Faceless Menace deck, Kadena Slinking Sorcerer. All right, it's one in Sulti, so that's one green, black, blue. For a 3/3 legendary creature, Naga Wizard, the first face-down creature spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast, and whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. So, basically, it is a commander that cares only about morphs. It doesn't want to do anything else. As far as I know, besides Animar, that's really the only morph commander, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you look through the past, there was the one actual technical morph creature, legendary. It was Ixidor Reality Sculptor.
Yeah.
He didn't really care too much about them, but he just reduced the cost to 2 and a blue, target face down creature face up, and he gave an anthem to face down creatures. He was 3 blue, so he kind of helped reduce the cost depending on the creature itself. So they kind of had one out there, but it doesn't really.
Well, yeah, but it was mono blue.
Exactly.
And it didn't really like
do anything.
It cared about face down creatures and the fact where you could flip them face up, but I mean I guess that's where the mana reduction could be.
Yeah.
Where, like if you have a flip up where it's like, oh, pay 6 mana to flip it over, then I guess I could see that being where it would be.
He's definitely more of the 99 than he would be as a commander.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. In this deck, he would actually be fantastic.
Oh, he would go in this deck 100%.
Yeah. You throw him into this deck, play your creatures face down for free.
Yeah.
Using Kadena, and then just flip them back up for only 3 mana.
Well, just the first one.
And if you pair it with just the first one's the free one, but if you pair that up with Training Grounds, now it only costs 1 blue to flip creatures over.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I mean, if you obviously being in blue and green, there's so many ways to go infinite with blue mana at least.
Well, even black, there's black that splashes in there that you can literally get very easy. Black mana on that one.
Well, well, I get, okay.
Just you can convert it over. There's ways you can convert the mana from black to blue very easily in multiple of those colors.
That's true. So I mean, if you're building this deck, it's a morph deck. There's no, you're not caring about literally anything.
There's no trickery.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I don't know how you would do really anything else.
I don't know how you would.
I mean, I could see upgrades to the existing deck, but not changing outside of the morph style.
Yeah, no, and I think if you're playing with Kadena, you are playing a morph deck through and through.
And I don't really see any use for her in the 99 if she was going to be moved around. Like she has to be the forefront of everything and everything of itself.
Yeah, she is the headliner. If anything, she's all or nothing. That's all she really cares about. Because I'm trying to think of it. There's no other strategies that go with her, but except for like. I mean, Morph, obviously. What's the other one that's like Morph?
Manifest.
Manifest is, in a sense, Morph, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not casting things to manifest them, essentially. That's just an ability. But, yeah, no, Manifest seems to be the only other. I'm looking through EDH Rec right now. Sponsor us. And,
but I would definitely keep Kadena as, like, if I'm going to buy this deck, this is the one I would use as my commander.
Yeah. I
really wouldn't lean the other direction. I think that the baseline of the deck itself has got a lot of synergy already pre-established with Kadena itself.
Yeah.
So to transition from her, it would basically at that point be making an entirely brand new deck. So I feel like just as a core value itself, she is already established a well-strong being. Whereas other decks in the sets usually, the side commanders can work either or in switching him out, but I feel this one is like so heavy towards the actual
Yeah.
team itself. Like the whole set, in a sense, almost they're putting a lot of strain on the actual abilities themselves.
Oh, definitely. And keep in mind too, for anyone listening, these decks haven't come out yet. As of recording of this, it's August 10th, so they come out in I don't know what
13 days.
13 days. Yeah,
Yeah,
like 2
23rd.
weeks.
But the full deck lists have been leaked, have been spoiled out by Wizards, so the full
Yeah.
lists are available online and through Wizards' website.
So we're strictly just going off of our own experience and looking at the deck lists and going from there. We haven't had we're not cool enough yet to get these sent to us yet, but who knows? Wizards sponsor us. But anyway.
Oh man.
So okay, so when you saw this guy, were you stoked? Were you not stoked? Was it something where you're like, it's all right, or like, when I first saw him, I think my first reaction was like, this is like, I wanted to build an Animar deck for a while, but I didn't know the direction to take it in, so I was going to do a Morph Animar deck. But I think if I was looking to build Morphs, I would end up with Kadena. So when I first saw it, I was pretty stoked on it, but after seeing some of the other spoiled commanders, there's other ones that I'd go for. But what were your initial reactions or thoughts to it?
I gotta be honest. When I saw this, I was like, like it wasn't as crazy exciting for me, or nothing about this this set made me jump for joy or anything like that.
Really?
Until I started reading into
All right.
the deck list and I started seeing the other creatures that were going with it, and I started seeing the themes come about and how well they were built, and how easily the strategy can be implemented for somebody to just pick up this deck and be able to play right away with the way it is. I mean, I could even dig through my collection a little bit, add in like a Vidalcan Ori. Now this deck is insane because I can play a creature face down on each one of your turns because of how it's worded, which is fantastic.
Yeah, creature spells you cast each turn.
Yeah, so honestly, looking at the when just the commander itself got spoiled, it was an moment for me. But when I started seeing the full deck and how well they were made, it was exciting. That's when I really started enjoying these commanders. It wasn't until that,
Yeah, well, this is the one. I mean, I already pre-ordered all 4 of them, but I ordered a second one of this one, the Faceless Menace.
That makes sense.
There's a lot of value in herself, like.
And I mean oh, sorry, go ahead.
What was it? If you add legit going into like any cost reduction creature spells, like she becomes almost near that's how Animar really got off to where she went into places, getting the cost reduction, because once you hit the 3 face down, it's free.
Yeah. So
Kadena itself, automatically by default, you got 1 free draw. Basically, you got 1 free draw, so she's replacing herself in one sense. She's giving the a free drop down for a face down creature. And then there's so many other options you can do to reduce the creature cost down, because they come out as 2/2. So already, like, if you get say for example, you throw out a Heartless Summoning, creature spells cost 2 less, but they get -1/-1. Now you have a 1-drop 1/1 that you could easily flip over. So you already have combos galore with Heartless Summoning out there right now. So you could just add that on top of the Kadena.
Yeah. Now, if you're building a Morph deck, like that's your goal, you're building a Morph deck. Are you going Kadena or are you going Animar?
Kadena,
because the black. It's honestly for me, it's the black mana, because black is far more powerful than red would be.
Yep.
And like when you do play Animar, there's almost nothing in the deck that's red. It's
true.
More so it's just the blue-green in a sense.
Yeah. The red is the utility color, I think, in that scenario.
And that's the thing, like. Yeah. If you look through what's the decks that are used, it's more so obviously it's like an Eldrazi based style deck when it comes to her, but there's no real play of what's red in that deck. That even like there are obviously some morph cards, but there's almost nothing for red that would be valued.
No, it's all blue green. The blue green morphs are really what puts that deck into the stratosphere, I think.
And I'm happy that they put black in it, so like especially like Bane of the Living, like that alone is a huge addition to Morph.
Yeah.
Being able to, for example, like you had 2 X black flip over, creatures get -X/-X. So easy board wipe on that one with no problem at all in black.
Yeah. Oh, can I say how like stoked I am? This has nothing to do with the commander, I guess, but that they're reprinting what is it, Ixodron or
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. Ixodron.
Yeah,
Ixodron.
Sweet.
Oh, what is it? It's like turn every creature face down, and the Ixodron's power and toughness are equal to the number of face down creatures. so excited. I love that card.
Oh, especially for 5 mana, you could easily
Yeah.
the power level behind that can be through the roof.
Oh, yeah,
and then
and-
Yeah.
you add it in addition to like even just to do a wrath on top of it. Just
Yeah.
do flip everything over, give everything -2/-2. It dies, but that was an easy way to kill the entire board.
Man, if there was white in it, could you imagine doing like Exodron into Elish Norn? Whew.
Oh yeah, that's
Elish Norn is I can't remember the casting cost, but it's all your creatures get +2/+2, and opponent's creatures get -2/-2.
a 7-drop. I think it's
Yeah.
like 5.
It's one of
or
the
it's a
white-
9-drop. Yeah.
The white Praetors. I love those so much. But all right, so yeah, overall, I mean, for me, it was I thought it was awesome at first, and actually, this is the one that I wanted to build around when I saw the spoilers come through initially. And I mean, I love Sulti color. I'm big into blue green. I mean, if there's blue and green in any deck, I'm gonna like it.
And I'm gonna hate it
And Chris is gonna hate it so much
because I can't stand blue.
But I
It's
love
blue.
I love
It's
blue.
such a bad color. I don't
Blue's
care
the
if that's good.
Best color.
No.
Blue's the best color. It's because it takes a complex mind to understand blue.
Yeah, that's not
For me, it's
I am
black.
straight Voltron. Just go hard at it. I don't understand blue. It
Yeah.
just no.
So
Yeah.
I love Sultai. I love but it's the green for ramp, the blue more for utility countering and controlling the game, control magic, and then the black being able to tutor up whatever I want and kind of like run that toolbox strategy. That's
Which
my
I'm also with in that comment. Like I'm trying a little amazed that they didn't put any like search really in this deck. They didn't have this like
yeah.
like even a demonic two, not demonic two, or the diabolic two thing that will cost 2 black like, or diabolic edict. Like
Yeah,
there's
what are
nothing
the-
in here that really like searches for a specific card.
Yeah, there's
in
really
the precon.
in the what?
In the precon?
Yeah.
In the precon, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, they want to make these as fair as
Well,
possible.
of
They don't want
course, but,
anybody
like-
jumping up ahead.
But usually
Just because of
black
twos.
is like known for something like that. Like they put like
Yeah, that's
reality
true.
shift in it. Like reality shift is one of the best blue targeted removal spells that are out there.
Only as of recently, I feel like Reality Shift was kind of off the radar until I mean, I've only started hearing about Reality Shift in the last like year, and it's been out since we started playing back in like Cons block, and that's when it first came out, and I feel like I haven't heard of it until just recently.
I figure back when, like I said, 'cause I was playing in Fate Reforged and that block, people were using it during Standard. It was a huge thing for that
Really?
one.
I don't remember. Like we played a lot of Standard, and like I don't know, Reality Shift just didn't seem like it was as.
Well,
big
in
of
fact,
a
because like
thing.
there was that risk that you were giving your opponent
yeah,
a
maybe that
potential,
was-
much bigger bomb on top of it.
maybe that's why I didn't at the time, like my naivete and Magic and single target removal, but also like potentially giving your opponent an upside. Maybe I wasn't down on it. But I agree, like I'm looking through the deck list right now, and like the black in this deck really isn't it's used for
It's minimal.
yeah. Like you have Silumgar's Assassin, that's a morph creature. You have Skin Thinner, that's a morph creature. It's a weird name.
Thieving amalgam.
Yeah, Bane of Living is a morph. So there's a couple of morph creatures in black, but as far as spells go, like it's
This deck is still blue green, but and that's what confuses me in a sense. Like, why'd they put Varaska?
yeah. That I feel like
You
they
know,
could have
like-
put a better planeswalker in here.
And that's my confusion. Is like,
Yeah.
if we're gonna do something with the planeswalker in every single deck, like, why did we choose Varaska? That doesn't really like.
So who would you have put in if you had to pick?
Almost in one sense, Ugin.
Okay.
Yeah, seriously.
Ugin the Affable, because like he puts creatures face down.
That's true. Oh, he manifests creatures. That's right.
He
Yeah.
manifests the
The
top
new-
of the library, and
the
it's
n-
only like a $5 card right now. It's
Yeah.
not
He
even
He
like
also
it's
reduces
expensive.
cost.
The new.
But it's only for
Ugin.
colorless though.
It's only colorless.
Yeah, wouldn't that count for a morph creature?
No,
No,
'cause the creature is still. Oh, hold on. I don't know.
In
actually.
your hand, it's still that color.
Morph color question mark. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, I feel like in your hand it's still the color that it is, so Ugin wouldn't see it as being too less because technically in your hand it's still whatever color it should be. I don't know.
Like I know, like Ugin doesn't really definitively go in with the deck itself,
Yeah.
but it's still like it's super. In my opinion, it's like super on theme. Like Varaska, you destroy a creature or destroy an on-land permanent. Like obviously, like that Varaska's good, but like why is like that? There's the black in the deck almost.
Yeah.
It's just destroy a creature here, destroy a creature there. Like, it's just some removal almost. Like,
Yeah.
I feel
I'd go
almost
with
if this deck was banned, it may have been a little more stronger because there are several white spells that focus on face down creatures and
Okay.
reduce the cost of space down.
Yeah.
Like there's Exile Doomsayer, 1 and a white, 1/2, all morph cost 2 more. Maybe that would like stuff like that. Like there's things that are focusing solely on that. Maybe they have like a reverse of those that can focus into that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I was gonna say you wouldn't want to make your morphs cost more, but yeah, I see what you're saying. But
So I just looked it up. It does. It is colorless.
It
Ugin
is?
works to
All right,
reduce costs.
there you-
Yeah.
There you go. So then I agree. Ugin would be a better planeswalker for this deck. In the precon. I think if you're building this deck yourself, Ugin's in there. 100%.
Well, yeah, because like it's like say it's a low costing card. Like you gotta figure
Yeah.
Baraska's like 3 and change, Ugin's like 5 and change, so it's not gonna be like changing
Yeah.
the drastic value compared to
No.
like the other planeswalkers that are out there. They're all around $5.
Yeah.
I feel, other than obviously Razorek, but that's different.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't need to see a Vraska in this deck. But who knows? Whatever. All right, so final thoughts on Kadena. It's cool. It's not my favorite. I think I probably will build this eventually, but I don't see this. There were others that I'm super hyped on, but I would give it like
In this deck,
well, I mean, if we're talking about the precon, I think it's
like
great.
in this deck,
Oh.
what's your favorite of
Volrath.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get to him in a little bit. Don't worry, but it's if I was giving it like a score 1 to 10, this is probably like a 5 or 6. Like it's good, it's great. I would build it and have fun with it, but it's not my go-to.
So out of these precons that have been released, this is my favorite by far.
Oh yeah, out of all the decks, yeah, definitely.
No. I'm sorry. Yeah. Out of all the commanders in this deck, he's my Kadena is my favorite by far.
I think
At least
that
for this deck.
Seaborn Muse is what's gonna really push it over the edge because
So
people
happy.
like that card so much.
So happy.
Yeah. Well,
Give me more Seaborn Muses.
don't forget about Road of Return too. That card is insane.
Yeah, we
What's
got
that?
options here.
Road of Return. What is that?
So it's green
Oh, I got
for
it, yeah.
sorcery that says choose one,
Yep.
return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Or you can put your commander into your hand from the command zone,
Yep.
or you can entwine for 2. This way you can choose both if you pay the entire entwine
So it's
cost.
4 mana for an awesome ability.
4 mana, bring something from your graveyard to your hand, and put your commander into your hand from the command zone. When he's now costing 10 plus mana.
Yeah.
That's
And that's one of the
insane.
new cards printed for
Yeah.
this set. Which
Yeah,
is
that
cool,
that card is insane.
which is
Yeah,
cool.
that's gonna be one of the most, in my opinion, the strongest cards that
Yeah.
they've printed out now.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I also like Leadership Vacuum, which is 2 and a blue. Target player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone. Draw a card.
Yeah.
Or target player returns, excuse me. So like for Chris, and especially the guys on the card art. Who's that? Your
Earl.
Earl. Yeah.
Where basically, well, you can't target him. Oh, it's target player.
Target
yeah.
player. We're targeting the player. So like
Yeah, that
Narset
would-
players, Earl players. This is great against partner commanders. Like I love running Vile Smasher Thrasios. Like it's great against them. But yeah, so I think that's a really cool new card they're printing. But all right, so Chris, final thoughts on Kadena?
I like the concept. I think they should have just added a little more manifest to it to round it out,
All right, cool.
or have at least some cost reduction other than just Kadena herself.
All right, yeah, I can see that. But as a commander in general, like if you were gonna build, how were you hyped on it? Were you not hyped on it?
I'm pretty. I like the concept of just going like I like that janky style build, and I feel like just going straight into manifest and face down creatures and just making like in a sense similar to Animar, just make them cost as close to 0, if not less than 0.
Yeah.
And just basically play my entire deck, and then find a way to flip all my creatures upside down. Just do some shenanigans.
Cool. All right, yeah. So yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
any way you can cheat a creature into play without paying its regular cost is always a way. That's always the
Broken?
strongest way to play
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I love cheating mana costs.
Especially when you're getting a card draw for every time you do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. On top, there's a replacement on her ability. I think that's what really pushed her over the edge was because she has draw a card. If she didn't have it, was just that cost reduction. Even if it was like in general to cost 2 less in general all the time, it wasn't just the first one. Like it'd be all right, but the fact that they have like when they face down enters, you draw a card. Like that's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's just replacing its card advantage or card. Yeah, I guess card advantage. Just being able to replace the card that you're casting with another card is great. And is it every morph you cast you get to draw, right?
Every face down creature.
Whatever face down creature is about. So yeah, they don't care if it's the first or second.
So that's where like manifest comes into play. So manifest is literally you put the card face down the battlefield.
Yeah.
So basically, manifest costs super, super low numbers, and you combine that with a scroll rack or some like brainstorm ability. That way, you get all creatures, so now you're not killing spells.
Yeah.
Or you even do manifest and put a bunch of land in the battlefield. That way, you're not losing your creatures.
Yeah.
So basically, you manifest for like 1 or 2, which manifest usually costs super, super low. Basically, you manifest, boom, now you have a free draw, and you get a 2/2 for like 1 or 2 mana. So you play a bunch of random bears and draw cards.
Yeah. I think if I was,
it could really go well.
Yeah, no, I agree. If I was building this, now mentioning like manifest, I think I would build it with a bunch of morph creatures, and almost every spell would have something to do with manifest in some way. Because that would just be like if you could like there's what was the card I was just reading it, Ghastly Conscription. So it says exile all. It's a 5 black sorcery. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard in a face down pile. Shuffle that pile, then manifest those cards. So like, imagine after a huge board wipe. And it gets back to you, and you cast Ghastly Conscriptions on yourself, and you take your entire graveyard and manifest it onto your battlefield, so that like you can get like 5-6 cards manifested. Then you're drawing 5 or 6 with Kadena on the battlefield, obviously. But
and that value is just through the
insane.
roof.
That's insane. That's cool.
See, the more excited you get about it.
No, I can't say
this
that.
card is insane.
Dang it! I love that.
So that's where I feel like that's what they may have quote unquote again, you have to make the value. You can't make this deck stronger than like a 5 or 6 for the most part. So I feel if they started leaning in more towards that manifest ability and started throwing those in there, or like the cost reductions, then your deck's going way out of hand. But like a lot of manifest cards are like dirt cheap. They're like pennies. Yeah. So you could easily do a $20, $50 upgrade build in this thing, and you're getting a boatload of manifest abilities.
Yeah. That's cool. The more, Eddie, I agree. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, dang, this could be fun.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're gonna move to the next one. So we're gonna look at Rayami because this is my least favorite. I just want to get it out of the way.
Really? Your least favorite?
I don't like this one.
Okay.
Well, okay, to a point. Like I shouldn't say I don't like it, but it's not on my. I'm not gonna build this. But so
I would take it out of the. I would even take it out of the 99.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play it at all.
So let's talk about what it is really quick first. Let's talk about the cards. So it is Rayami, First of the Fallen. It is again 1 in Sultai, so 1 black, green, blue. Excuse me, for a 5/4 legendary creature, vampire. And it says, if a non-token creature would die, exile that card with a blood counter on it instead. As long as an exiled creature card with a blood counter on it is, as long as an exiled creature card with a blood counter on it has flying, Rayami First of the Fallen has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. So basically, this is like that mono white creature. That when it, during combat, if something has flying, everything has flying.
Odric,
yep.
So the way I see this, my first thought is Soul Flare decks, where you would delve away cards, and the cards that you delved, whatever ability they had, would go on to Soul Flare. But the problem is, the way you can build Soul Flare is you just fill your graveyard. With Rayami, the downfall is it has to be non-token, which again, so be it. But it has to die, so that means it had to be on the battlefield. So you have to somehow either cheat it in, or cast it naturally, and then on top of that, then you have to have the creature die. Yeah. Now it works for every creature on the battlefield, though. That's true. So it's not just your own, which is a huge upside on it. So thank God they put that instead of just your own creatures. But I still feel like if they made this delve, that would have been huge. Yeah, that would have been a phenomenal Voltron style deck.
I don't know. I think it's cool. I just don't. I don't know. I guess if all those the cards are exiled, so they're never gonna not be exiled. You're always gonna have those abilities. This card reminds me of who was the commander from 2017? Marisol.
Yeah, I could see that.
Marisol the Pretender. There we go. So Marisol the Pretender, very similar card. It's 1 and Grixis. So when Marisol the Pretender enters the battlefield, you may exile an artifact or creature card from your hand or graveyard, put a cage counter on it. Marisol the Pretender has all activated abilities of all cards you own in exile with cage counters on them. So it's...
But you got to figure right there. If you just read it, it's you exile an artifact or a creature from your hand. So that's one less step that you're focusing on. And one with Grixis, I feel, will be a lot stronger than it'll be with one with Sultai.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's ramp with Sultai, but like red usually has a lot more artifact control and hate and everything like that, so that would work better with Marisol.
Ryami doesn't care about artifacts, just cares about creatures.
Just creatures, yeah.
Man, like so this to me this reminds me. Did anybody watch the show Heroes? Back in the day. There's
like the first season, and then I stopped.
Yeah, there's that character Sylar. When he kills somebody, he takes their powers.
He takes their powers.
This is what that reminds. Like this is like a Sylar. I'd build a hero Sylar deck out of this.
I think the only thing that would have made this card better would have been if it had a sack outlet on it. But at the same time, I think that's the direction that this card should be going. Like if we're building a deck around this, it's aristocrats. Like you build a deck where you have all these high value creatures, like Muldrifter, for example, enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, right?
Yeah.
So we play on Muldrifter, then we sack it to a sack outlet like Viscera, sacrifice Scry, and now our commander, when it enters the battlefield, gets that ability. Like that's
it gets flying. It gets
just
flying.
Get flying. It doesn't.
It wouldn't get the ability. It just gets whatever like the static abilities would be, not like ETBs or activated or triggered abilities.
Yeah, that would be bonkers.
The problem is like it's just you have one extra step to take.
Right. I misread it.
Like like if they just made it when it if a creature would go into the battlefield, would go into the graveyard, you may exile it. That's what it should have said. If a creature would go to the graveyard, whether it's from play or not, that's where it really comes. Like you take that out. If a creature goes in the graveyard, Ryami gains his ability if you exile that creature instead. But then make it only your cards.
Okay.
So that at that point you just basically just put everything. You just because at that Sultai you can mill yourself into oblivion.
So this is actually still pretty push though, because it's if a non-token creature would die, exile that card with a blood counter on it instead.
It's super graveyard
that's
hate.
That's anybody.
Yeah.
Like that's literally anybody on the table. That means they're not able to reanimate. They're not able to play with their graveyards.
I would just rather play
Molotha is just dead. Like
I think it's good. I just don't think it's great. I mean, like it's good to have those abilities. It's cool. I like the graveyard hate because I hate graveyard shenanigans. But I don't hate it, but it's tough to play against. But
the way I see it, it's easy to kill a creature comparative to everything else. So I would rather have just play a Leyline of the Void. It's 2 black, and things just go into exile if they go into the graveyard, and that's any card whatsoever. Because if you figure Ryami,
until they get rid of that enchantment.
Correct, but like comparatively, it's easier to get rid of a creature than it is enchantment because more people play creature removal than enchantment removal. But this only deals with creatures, whereas Leyline deals with everything.
But that's actually proving my point. You said it just now. More people play with creature removal than they do with any other type of removal. So that means creatures are going to die throughout the course of the game.
Yeah.
You're literally as more creatures die, your commander gets more pumped up. That's crazy.
The way I see it is, obviously this is a Voltron style build.
Yeah, without question.
The way I see the way I build Voltron style decks, I just put stuff onto the creature itself. I add enchantments, artifacts.
But I don't think then in this case I don't think this would be a Voltron in the theory or the aspect you're thinking. I think this is Voltron in an aristocrat kind of way. Like I think if you're building this deck, you don't really care about what other people's creatures are doing. Like obviously if they have some cool stuff, excuse me. I'll bleep that out, don't worry. If they have some cool stuff, then that's great. That's awesome. You can get it. But I feel like if you're building this deck, you're filling your deck with protection and flying and death touch and hexproof.
But you have to note that aristocrats are very cheap costing bland vanilla creatures that just kill each other over and over again.
Maybe aristocrats is the wrong term, but I feel like.
But that's where you'd want to go with this style of build. I feel.
I was gonna say aristocrats is the right route.
That's the way to go with this build. Is like because things are gonna go in the graveyard hands down.
So
there's no question there.
So then maybe it's rich aristocrats like.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be paying a little bit more mana for your creatures, but like I'm looking through deck lists here, and you have things like Vampire Nighthawk and Nightveil Predator, Darksteel Myr. Like there are creatures that you can sack on your own side.
You just want creatures, whether they're good or not creatures, and just make them have abilities.
Yeah.
Like they said, like the Nighthawk. It's a cheap creature that has multiple abilities. You don't care. Like obviously, it's a good creature on its own in a sense, but you don't care about that creature. You just want to get that into the yard.
Yeah. And it's Voltron. It's Voltron where you're trying to get your one creature to be as big and good as it can be, but it's
abilities wise.
But I'm not. If I'm building this, I don't care about enchantments. I don't care about artifacts besides protection and utility ones. But this is I'm shoving as many awesome ability filled creatures in this deck as I can, and then I'm trying to kill my own creatures to get Riami to be as buffed and broken as she can be before swinging in.
But even if she gets all those abilities, you're not buffing her base stats. She's still a 5/4.
No, that's fine. But if I give it double strike or if I give it hexproof and indestructible, like, good luck dealing with it. Besides mass removal.
Yeah.
So, and even then, like, if I give it protection from, there's tons of creatures that have protection from certain colors, or there's that what is it? It's like an artifact creature.
No, it's not protection. It's only literally flying first strike.
No, protection's on it.
Protection's on there,
protection.
Man.
Okay.
So she gets flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, and vigilance. So you're getting tons of stuff. So like this could definitely be, you're not buffing her base stats. He's still going to be
it's
5.
Cards like this that I'd want to pair it up with Zatalpa.
Yeah.
And not Saheeli, the Shalai girl, the one whatever her name is, that she's 3 green red, where pay 1 white and tap her to tap a thing.
Yeah.
Where she's double strike, vigilance, haste, like just big butt creatures that can just do a bunch of everything.
So do like a 2-drop bat with the Gurmag Swiftwing, flying first strike haste. Boom. Vampire Nighthawk he talked about, flying death touch lifelink. Like there are plenty of Baleful Strix, that's another one with flying and death touch. There are plenty of creatures out there that have multiple abilities on them, and they're pretty cheap. Sylvan Caryatid, however you pronounce that.
Caryatid.
It's Defender and Hexproof, and Defender won't carry over to the creature, so we're not concerned there. But we give him Hexproof. Yeah. Like it's just a new way of building Voltron, which I think is really cool.
Which is awesome because most people are going to come prepared for that artifact and enchantment heavy style. And like, think about it. If you have a board full of creatures, the worst thing in most cases is a board wipe. You're like, dang, like I just lost all my creatures.
In this case, it's amazing.
In this case, you don't care. Like if your commander's out and all those creatures die, you're like, sweet, great.
Yeah.
Get them out.
Like at that point, I'm almost looking at playing enough board wipes where I can clear out. I mean, obviously we want to be prepared for as many different decks as possible. So we're not going to put 20 board wipes in it, but if we can add a couple of extra board wipes than usual, we're gonna be clearing out our opponent's creatures, which are going to get exiled, and we gain all those abilities. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, this is crazy. The more I'm thinking about this one too, now I'm 100%. Like, dang, I want to build this.
But, yeah, it's pretty cool.
So so generally speaking, and I'm gonna kind of be a hypocrite here. At first, I wasn't too hyped on it. More we're talking about it, I'm kind of into it. Like I feel like it'd be a fun, is it top?
Well, you had a Merrill deck. I would think you'd be all over this.
Yeah, Marisol was a fun one. But,
Marisol, yeah.
But I mean, I'm hyped on it. But again, would I build it? Maybe not right away. But I could definitely see this being a fun commander to build around, especially that like alternate Voltron. And I hate Voltron. Like I don't hate Voltron, but I definitely
I am the king of Voltron. I don't even give a damn for this guy.
You are.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up building some like birthing pod version style of this deck.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah, see, now you're hype.
Oh man, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Steel form, Vanifar, like
Okay.
that would be very cool.
I got the wheels turning right now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I mean, I'd give this I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 on the hype train.
4. I'm giving it a 4.
I'm a little higher than that. I mean, probably like an 8. I like
Nice.
this. I think this would be really cool to play.
All right, Eddie, you and I will
I'm
build it,
probably
and then
gonna
we'll
build
fight
it.
Chris with it.
Yeah.
And then-
Voltron
then-
versus Voltron.
Then
Let's go.
I'll bring the stupid black green thing that no one wants to ever play in this deck.
What?
Oh,
With
the plants.
Oh yeah.
Griswold.
The plants, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just to give everyone's a head up. We're not going to talk about that one.
We're not?
We're sticking to the 3 colors.
That's
Well-
probably a good idea.
Yeah,
Just
Griswold,
quickly
the
mention
Dread
it.
Sower.
Yeah, Griswold.
See, when
yeah.
you said Rayami was the worst in this deck, that's
Yeah.
why I was thinking to myself, like, what about
Oh,
Griswold?
No, Griswold's terrible.
Griswold's awful.
So, I'm sorry. The way I see it is, at the beginning of your end step, each player creates a 1/1 green plant,
I
right?
guess
It's
we'll
black.
talk about it.
No,
Yeah.
all creatures you control, your opponents control get -1/-1. So they instantly die, and it instantly becomes a +3/+3 every single turn. On
Well-
your end step.
He gets +1. He gets counters. They're not going away.
That's what I'm saying. Like he can become huge.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's very good. So
Remember remember how I hug trees? Okay, I'm just briefly mentioning it. Okay.
Him and his plants.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna skip that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris doesn't like it. Eddie's pretty hyped on it. I'm middle of the road. And
We're back on Rayami.
Rayami, yeah. I'm getting
Yeah.
more hyped on
Back
it.
to Rayami.
I'm getting more hyped on it as we go. So that's cool. All right, cool. All right, so who's next?
The final one.
The last one in the Sulti
Volrath,
deck.
the Shapestealer.
Volrath,
She is
the
epic.
Shapestealer. So this is the one that I'm the most excited about, and I'm actually already building this guy. I've already ordered cards.
Lady.
That's gonna be Volrath is a dude, man.
That looks like a lady.
That's a dude. That's total. He's another. There's another Volrath card.
I don't believe you.
Anyway, doesn't matter. So let's talk about Volrath the Shapestealer. So Volrath the Shapestealer, it is 2 in Sulti. So the other ones have just been 1 in Sulti. So this is a little bit more, but it's a 7/5 legendary creature shapeshifter. And Volrath says at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Then for 1 generic mana, you have an ability that says, till your next turn, Volrath the Shapestealer becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it. Except it's a 7/5 and it has this ability. So basically what that means is if you have a creature with a -1/-1 counter or a +1/+1 counter or divinity counter, doesn't matter, any type of counter, Volrath can pay generic mana, become a copy of it till your next turn, but it keeps its base stats and abilities, which I think is awesome. I think that's really cool. Now
Good combat tricks.
it's good for combat tricks. I
Good
think
for Infect.
it's great for infect. So I'm building this guy, and a lot of the strategies I'm seeing are infect based, but I don't like infect very much. I think it's kind of a cheap ploy in a way. But
It's like playing Armageddon, you know.
yeah, I don't think it's as bad as Armageddon, but it's it's
Well,
up
in
there.
a set. Yeah, I feel so.
Now that being said, do I have infect in any of my decks? Of course I do. Like I
Heck
think
yeah.
I got, what is it, Triumph of the Hordes. I have that blue enchantment that gives things infect. Doesn't matter, but I'm not going infect with it. But I do have infect creatures that I'm putting in it, but it's not an infect strategy. So yeah, this is the one that I'm the most hyped about in this deck. I think you can do some cool broken copy abilities and steal things, and I definitely think this is the coolest dirtily deck out of all of them. And
How is this dirtily? I don't think this is dirtily at all. You can put it's pay 1, any counter at all.
So, well, they have to have a counter on it already, but he puts counters on things.
Yeah, so by default, you're automatically getting at least 1 trigger off them. Now, yes, you gotta have a creature there, but still, minimum.
Yeah.
You're getting at least 1 trigger off this.
But you also need to have, there needs to be something worth copying, though. That's the part that I'm finding a little bit of trouble with, is I'm putting in some creatures that are really good and have some cool abilities, but, if I don't have any of those out, and Volrath's out, and, Eddie has a Sakura Tribe Elder or something, do I want to copy a Sakura Tribe Elder? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Sack that your own creature and get it out off the board for me.
I don't
You
want to
can't-
sack
you
my
That sounds
you can't-
fantastic.
I don't want to
You
sack
can't
my
do that
7/5.
because Sakura Tribe Elders are 1/1.
Oh, you'd kill it.
I'd kill it.
Kill
yeah.
it.
So exactly. So I think there's a lot of setup that needs to happen with this deck, and I think it's doable. Like I ordered a lot of cards that mass produce -1/-1 counters. Like I'm looking for one right now that I got.
Blow flow infestation or something like that.
Blowfly infestation. It's 2 and a black. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, if it had a -1/-1 counter on it, put a -1/-1 on target creature. So that's targeted. But where's the?
Just bounce it around. Then there's the.
Gotta put Hapatra in there.
Hapatra's
Yargmal.
awesome.
Hapatra's in there. There's the creature that it's do things as wither. So
Yep.
all damage is equated to wither. So they're all -1/-1 counters.
Necro Skitter's in there. There's a few.
Inexorable Tide. Start
Yep.
adding in proliferate with that.
Yep. I think the route I'm going with is it's a lot of copy. So there's going to be some clones, but it's
That's cool.
cloning -1/-1 counters and just I guess a little bit of infect. I don't know. I feel like I'm taking it in too many directions. I'm probably going to get rid of the infect, but
No, throw Skittles in
That's
there.
the easiest way to win with that.
Skittles is going in there. Skittles is going to go in just because it's a beast flyer, and absolute worst case, cool. I can kill someone in the air with infect. But yeah, this is definitely. I'm the most hyped about this one. I would have to say. I'm psyched about this one.
Oh, Black Sun Zenith in this deck.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
So Black Sun Zenith, I'm looking at it right now. Black Sun Zenith is X black for sorcery. Put X -1/-1 counters on each creature, then shuffle Black Sun Zenith into its owner's library. That's one of the mass -1/-1 counter distributors that's out there. And then I'm putting in Sword of Truth and Justice, which is one of the new swords from Modern Horizons, and it's part of the sword cycle, and it's 3 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from white and from blue. And whenever a cryptid creature deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature I control. So like as long as I make contact, I can just start distributing +1/+1 counters around and start copying my own creatures. Like, I'm psyched.
That's cool.
It's gonna be good. I can't wait for this one. This is definitely, I think, out of all the decks too, even the other commander decks, like there's a few that I'm psyched about, but I think this is the most psyched I am on most of them. I've said that a lot, so I'm gonna stop saying it. But this is my favorite. This one's my favorite.
I think it could be very cool. I think I could, especially from the way you're describing it, I could see a couple of cool things being done with it. It's nowhere near my favorite.
Yeah, I think it's definitely narrow.
Just not a fit for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I like the colors, blue and green again. Real digging into that, and then black is just going to be good for a lot of the infect creatures, a lot of the -1/-1 counter distribution, and then proliferate is going to be a huge thing. So like, there's a couple of new creatures from War of the Spark that do proliferate. There's a land that proliferates. So worst case,
Karn's Bastion.
Yeah, exactly. So worst case, if the copying strategy doesn't work, I can just try to kill everything with -1 counters and swing in for damage. So. And like this is, technically this is a little Voltron-y too, because he's a 7/5. So as long as you beef him up, beef him up with some good abilities and he hits, like he's gonna be good. Three hits with that and you're done.
Actually, maybe that's your route. Go with a bunch of like unblockable and evasion type creatures, flying, type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Protection.
Flying, protection, and I guess infect. I feel like it's almost unavoidable, but I feel like infect is gonna be. It's got to be a big part of it. Yeah. But we'll see. Do I have?
I would 100% just go with straight Voltron and infect on this. I wouldn't even consider any other way.
I just don't want to I don't want to win by infect. If it comes down to it, and like I have a Skitherix, and
sorry, you don't want to win
by infect.
You don't want to win
by infect. By infect. Because then here's the thing. Here's what happens. Like someone sits down with an infect deck. What does everybody do? They're like, oh, crap, he's got an infect deck. Everyone fight him.
I wonder how you know that.
Because I had an infect deck once, and I played it like 3 times. I never played it again. And like that's just no fun. Like you don't want to sit down and have everybody immediately target you because they know, this guy's gonna have infect go nuts. So I mean, it's gonna be in there, but I don't want it to be the main strategy. So we'll see. I'm excited to build it. We'll see how it goes. And Chris doesn't like it, so we're not even gonna talk to Chris.
I don't mind it. It's just I would just go straight infect. I wouldn't even bother with it. That's the only.
Yeah.
It's a 7/5.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. You
hits.
can literally just copy a thing with double strike and infect and trample.
That's
Can
true.
you tell he's a Voltron player?
He is 100%. I mean, yeah, you just need to copy something that has double strike and infect, and you're killing somebody. As long as they're open, but that's why you put what's that land? Rogue's Passage.
Yeah.
Just giving them block. Oh, I'm putting Prowler's Helm in this, and Prowler's Helm is, let me look it up so I can. Prowler's Helm.
Like Phyrexian Crusader, he's first strike pro red, black, and white. Boom, infect done.
So Prowler's Helm is a 2-mana artifact equipment that says equipped creature can't be blocked except by walls. So like,
Oh, okay.
it's just evasion. It's similar to like Whisper Silk Cloak, only a little less. And instead of just not being able to block, only walls can block it. So yeah, I mean it's gonna. I guess it does have some twinges of Voltron, but I don't know. We'll see.
Twinges, it screams Voltron,
We'll
bro.
see.
Look at the picture of it. It looks like a Voltron. If the power's more than the toughness, already starting on a Voltron style.
It's already Voltron.
It's already starting there.
We'll see. I'm gonna build it strictly not Voltron now, just to prove that it can be done.
Okay, so that means you're gonna do nothing with the commander at all. Just gonna have it be there just to say, oh, I want it to just be there.
I have a feeling, based on what I've been like looking at and seeing, it's gonna end up being mostly -1 based, and just trying to copy whatever I can. So we'll see. I don't know.
See, at that point, scrap that commander and just play Yawgmoth.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
He's in it. He's in the deck.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, he's in there. I have one of them, so I like it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm psyched about it.
I just ordered Yawgmoth. That's my plan soon, anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys will be seeing that.
Yawgmoth? Straight Yawgmoth?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, commander, mono black.
Very cool.
Let's go.
I wanted to do or to do Urza, but I feel like there's no way to build that that's not broken. But anyway, that's a discussion for another episode. We'll talk about We'll talk about those another time. So, okay. So to recap, Volrath, I think it's good. I'm building it. I can't wait to build it. I'm psyched to see how it goes. Chris.
Nobody else is gonna grade it. That's just you.
Yeah, Chris is.
I'm gonna make Griswold.
Chris is making Griswold.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I want to do it, because it's Mr. Griswold.
So you gotta make it themed around all the vacation movies.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to Vegas. Okay, that's literally where I'm like doing it here. Come on.
I'll play Rayami. Maybe we could get a stream going where we actually play a game.
That's actually
That'd
something
be pretty cool.
That's something I want to and we can
We
talk
should
about
do
this.
one person plays Kadima, one person plays Rayami, one plays Volrath, and one plays Griswold. Because there's only 4 legendaries in this whole deck.
Well, we would need a 4th person to jump on. So hey, maybe it can be you, watchers. Leave a comment.
Yes, exactly.
Build sign
special
online.
guests.
We get them added in. Get a special guest.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think something that I wanted, and then, again we can talk about this off camera too. But I want to do like either a bi-weekly or a weekly, depending on how if we can swing it, online Commander MTGO Commander game.
That'd be cool.
So it's doable. It's definitely doable. So, but anyway, that's again topics for another time. So yeah, that's all of the main 3-color commanders in the Faceless Menace deck.
Yeah, because the 3-color commanders are the only ones that matter.
Yeah, the 2-color one, Griswold or Grismold is his name. Grismold the Dread Sower.
The tree.
He's a tree.
The tree guy.
He's
Yeah,
actually a
tree.
troll. He's a troll, but he's next to a
Yeah,
tree.
but he's around trees. He loves trees.
He's near trees. So yeah, so that's our opinion on the new commanders coming out of Faceless Menace. We're gonna do an episode for each of the 4 commander decks coming up, so make sure to be on the
Stay
lookout
tuned.
for the other ones.
Check us out.
And next, maybe we'll do, I don't know, maybe we do the Jeskai one next. We'll do that one. We haven't filmed them yet, so movie magic. But anyway, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like or comment down there. We're not sponsored by anybody, but Card Kingdom, Wizards, Ultra Pro, hi,
Any food suppliers?
sponsor us.
Yeah, Whole Foods, get at us.
Yeah.
Whole Foods, get at us, because nothing screams Whole Foods demographic like 3 nerds talking about Magic the Gathering.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Give us food.
I mean, where else are we getting chips, right?
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah. We like to eat. Look at me. Clearly, I like to eat. So
Yeah.
sponsor us. But so yeah, do you guys have any other opinions? Leave them in the comments. Let us know if you would build something different than what we talked about.
Please
Definitely
like and subscribe.
let us know in the comments. Yeah, subscribe. This is new. We're new. This is the first time. This is the first episode. There's some technical difficulties, but I think we overcame those quite nicely.
We love you all.
Here we are.
We're having fun with these. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Pieces.
Later.